Let's take a look at our Lesson 3 notes together here. Lesson 3 is on converting rational numbers. It's converting rational numbers part 1 because we're doing fractions to decimals, and later we're going to do decimals to fractions. We're going to do this without a calculator. We're going to change a fraction to a decimal without a calculator, so it's going to require long division. This paper can look a little intimidating at first, but we're just going to take it one step at a time. It's going to be important for us to know how to change fractions to decimals, because we're going to need them in decimal form sometimes to be able to compare them to other numbers or to put them in order. So it's an important skill to be able to do. We're gonna, like I said, take this one step at a time and figure this out together. So the first step says to write the numerator, which in this case is the number on top, as usually is 5, on the inside, and the denominator on the outside. So we're going to create a little division symbol here. We're going to write the 5 on the inside, the numerator, and the denominator on the outside. So that's it for step number 1. So for step number 2, we're going to copy what we've done so far. You need to write this down. It's going to be a lot of copying what we've done in previous steps, but that's going to help us see exactly what we did in the step before. So we're going to put a decimal point after the 5 with several zeros. Put a decimal point here. Let's put 4 zeros this time. Write the decimal point directly above the other one here. So in our answer in just a second, we're going to put our answer up here. We need the decimal in the same spot there. Okay, let's copy that down because we're at the end of that step already. So 8 on the outside, 5 on the inside, decimal with 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros, a decimal point directly above the other one. Now let's read what this one has to say. It says divide. How many 8s fit into 5? Well, we can't fit 8 into 5, so the next question would be how many 8s can we fit into 50? So we include the next digit. If we can't fit into 5, we try to include it into 50 and write that number above here. So we might not remember or know exactly what that is, but we're going to take a guess. And so 8 into 50, I know what that is. We're going to go ahead and write 6 up above here. And if you didn't know, you could have tried something and see if it worked, but hopefully you could figure that out. So we're going to go ahead and copy that here. 8, 5 with 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. Put a decimal point above that. Put a 6 above there. I'm going to make sure that you've got that before we go on to that step there. Next one says to take that 6 that we put up there, multiply times the 8, and write under the 50. So 6 times 8 is 48. I'm going to write that underneath the 50. So the 8 didn't fit into 50 exactly 6 times. It fit in there a little less than 6. There was actually some left over. So we're going to get to that in the next step here. So I'm going to move down here. This is step number 5. We're going to copy everything that we have so far. So look up here and copy that down under step number 5 there. We have our 8 on the outside, 5 on the inside, decimal, 1, 2, 3, 4. Put the decimal above that. We said that it fits in 6 times, and we took 6 times 8 and got 48. All right, now we're going to subtract. We're going to see how much is left over. 8 doesn't fit into 50 an even number of times. There's some left over. So subtract 50 minus 48 and write the result under 48. So we're going to subtract, write this as our equal sign. 50 minus 48. Now if you are having trouble subtracting this, you will need to borrow because 0 minus 8 can't be done. So you'll borrow from that 5 and make it 4. And that makes this 10. So 10 minus 8 is 2. 4 minus 4 is 0. We don't even need to write that. So that's our subtraction. There's 2 left over. 50 minus 48 is 2. So let's go ahead and write what we've got so far. We've got our 8 on the outside, 5 on the inside, decimal 1, 2, 3, 4. Decimal above there. We said that 8 fits into 50 6 times. 6 times 8 is 48. We subtracted, and we got 2. So that's where we're at right now. Make sure you've got that. I know this is a lot of writing, but you need to write all this down with me here. So now we're going to just bring down the next 0. We already used this 0 when we did 50, so bring down the next one right there. All right, we're going to copy that we've got so far. We have 8 on the outside, 5 on the inside, decimal 1, 2, 3, 4. Put that decimal above that one. Put a 6 there because that's how many times I think 8 fits into 50. 6 times 8 is 48. We subtracted. 50 minus 48 is 2. Bring down our 0. All right. Now, we're trying to fit 8 into this number here. So how many 8s fit into 20? We're going to write that number above the next, right here, or right next to, next to the 6. So 8 goes into 20. Let's see, it goes in at least 2 times. So let's try that. 2. All right, that's it for that step. So we're going to go ahead and write what we've got so far underneath step number 8. 8 goes on the outside. 5 on the inside. Decimal. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're decimal above that one. 8 fits into 50 6 times. 6 times 8 is 48. Subtract. 50 minus 48 is 2. We brought down our 0. We said that 8 fits into 20 now, 2 times. And now it's time to multiply back out to see if 8 fit into 20 an exact number of times, or if it doesn't quite fill it up. So we're going to do 8 times, or 2 times 8 is 16. So it doesn't fill it up all the way. And that's it. We're going to go on to step number 9 and copy everything we have so far. So let's review here. We've got 8 on the outside, 5 on the inside. Our numerator goes on the outside, denominator on the numerator on the inside, denominator on the outside. 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. Put a decimal point above there. 8 goes into 50 6 times. 6 times 8 is 48. We subtracted. 50 minus 48 gave us 2. We brought down this 0. 8 goes into 20. Exactly 2 times. Well, not exactly 2 times. Goes in 2 times. 2 times 8 is 16. And now it's time to subtract. Take 20 minus 16 and write the result under 16. So we'll subtract 20 minus 18, or excuse me, 20 minus 16 leaves us with, and again, you might have to borrow here if you're not ready to do that mentally there. Borrow from that 2, and put a 1 in front of there. 10 minus 6 is 4, and 1 minus 1 is nothing, so 4. So now we're ready to copy that down. Our next step here, we have 8. Our denominator on the outside, numerator on the inside. Write those 4 zeros after the decimal, put the decimal point up there. You got to hang in here with me. You got to keep writing these down, okay? 8 goes into 50 6 times. 6 times 8 is 48. 50 minus 48, it left us with 2. We brought down this 0. 8 goes into 20 2 times. 2 times 8 is 16. We subtracted. 20 minus 16 left us with 4. It's time to bring down that next 0. Bring down next 0 all the way down here. 0. Okay, we only have to do this 2 more times where we copy this down. So copy this next part down with me here. We have our numerator on the inside, our denominator on the outside, decimal 0, 0, 0, 0. We put a decimal point up there. 8 goes into 50 6 times. 6 times 8 is 48. 50 minus 48 is 2. Bring down our 0. 8 goes into 20 2 times. 2 times 8 is 16. We multiply that back out. We subtract again. 4, and we just brought down that 0. So we're to this part now. How many 8s fit into this next number? 8 fits into 40 5 times. So we're going to write that next to the 2 here. All right, 5 times 8. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself here. We got to copy this down again. So that was our next step. We're going to go ahead and just copy down what we've done so far. This is the last time we got to do this. So hang in there and do this with me here. 8 on the outside, 5 on the inside, decimal 1, 2, 3, 4. Decimal point above the other one. We put our 6 here because 8 goes into 50 6 times. 6 times 8 is 48. We subtracted, brought down our 2, bring down our 0 here. 8 goes into 20 2 times. 2 times 8 is 16. 20 minus 16 is 4. Brought down our 0. And we just did 8 goes into 40 5 times. Now we're going to take 5 times 8 and write that under 40. 5 times 8 is 40. How about that? 40 and 40. If the two numbers match, when we subtract, 40 minus 40 is 0. And because it's 0, there's nothing else to go in there. We're done. If the two numbers match, you're finished. Took us all the way to step number 12 there. But we took 5/8, and the decimal form for that is 0.625, or just 0.625 as I've got here. And that was a lot of steps there, but we did that. We took care of it. And I'm going to do a little thing up here to help you remember sort of these steps, a little bit of a shorter version. Every time, we kind of had a pattern there. We continued to do the same thing after we set it up. We would divide, right, D for that. We divided, then we multiplied, and then we subtracted, and then we brought down the next digit. So divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. You can see it says divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. Divide, multiply. When we subtracted, we did do that there on that step, but it equaled 0, so we didn't bring anything down. So this can help you remember sort of these steps for what we're supposed to do. Let's see if we can get a couple practice problems done here before our time is up. We're going to do some that are a little bit simpler here. That one was kind of complicated, but I want to do it for our practice because I wanted you to be able to see what that looked like for kind of a more complicated one. So let's do something easy like 4/5. All right, so the numerator will go on the inside. The denominator on the outside. Put a decimal point, give ourselves a few zeros here. Put that decimal point right above the other one. And we go ahead and try to fit 5 into 4, which can't be done. So we can go ahead and put a 0 here if you want. And then we try to fit 5 into 40. 5 does go into 40. It goes in 8 times. So we multiply that back out. 8 times 5 is 40. 40 minus 40 is 0. So that's it. They match already. We're done. 0.8 is our answer. So that one goes a lot faster there. It's just that one digit. Once they match, you're good to go. Let's do another one here, 1/4. So set this up with me here. Numerator on the inside, denominator on the outside. Decimal point with some zeros after it. You could do 3 or 4. If you have to add more zeros later, you can always add more zeros. It's not going to hurt anything. Put the decimal point right above it. 4 can't go into 1, so we can put a 0 there. 4 does go into 10 twice. Multiply that back out. 2 times 4 is 8, so we'll write that underneath the 10 there. 10 minus 8 leaves us with 2, so we're not done yet. We bring down a 0. 4 goes into 20 exactly 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20. So that's it. We're done. Because the two match, there's nothing left. 0.25. All right, what about number 3 here? 2/9. So go ahead and write that down. We're going to go ahead and we're going to put the numerator on the inside, the denominator on the outside, decimal point, fill in a few zeros here, 3 or 4, doesn't matter. We can add more later if we need to. Put the decimal point up there. All right, 9 goes into 2. Well, it doesn't fit into 2, so we have to put up a 0 there. How many times does 9 go into 20? It goes exactly, exactly? It goes in 2 times, but doesn't go in exactly. 2 times 9 is 18. So 20 minus 18, borrow from the 2 there, make that a 1. 10 minus 8 is 2, and 1 minus 1 is nothing. So we're still left over, so we bring down a 0. 9 goes into 20, 2 times. We do 2 times 9 is 18. We subtract. So 20 minus 18, like we did up there just a minute ago, is 2, and we bring down a 0. This is beginning to feel familiar here. Every time we have to fit 9 into something, it's 20. So 9 and 22, 2 times, it was 18 when we multiply it back out. We did the same thing. 9 goes into 20 2 times, subtract. So again, we're going to do 9 into 20, it's going to be 2 times again, and 2 times 9 is 18. If you get this, where you get the same number 3 times in a row, or the same chunk of numbers 3 times in a row, you're just repeating. It's just going to keep on going like this. You could do this on and on forever. This is a repeating decimal. So here's the fraction form we've now written as a decimal. You can stop once it repeats 3 times because you're pretty sure at that point it's just going to keep on going on and on forever. So we're going to rewrite this with bar notation. 0, because it says here, if the decimal repeats, use bar notation. So 0.2 repeating. So if it keeps on doing the exact same thing over and over again, you can stop. You can write it as a repeating decimal with that bar notation. We'll do some more of these in class, but that'll give you a start there. Hopefully you're beginning to get a feel for that. We'll do some more practice later.